Hi everyone in English 1301, it's Dr. E and I'm here with your week 2 instructional video. I hope that your first week back in classes or starting classes went really well. Again, I know it can feel a little overwhelming at first, especially with online courses, so just give yourselves a little grace and practice patience, which can be super hard at times. But know that once we get to about the third week, you'll start to feel more comfortable, at least in our course. You'll get a better sense of where to go, what to do, that kind of thing. And these videos will hopefully help you along the way. So I'm going to jump right in so we can figure out what we're doing this week. I'm starting in the content area. Just again, remember to take some time to click through and learn where information is located, what information is helpful to you. These are all the modules, are meant to be something that you can, utilize as a tool to support you as a student. And then we have, of course, our weekly modules. So I'm going to jump to week number 2. This is what it looks like from our schedule. Remember, you can always access the schedule here. So this week, before we move into our course text, we're going to read an article by Irvin, which is all about academic writing. So what is this, this newfangled kind of writing that we're expected to do in college? How does it differ from previous writing and our experiences there, especially because we're all coming from vastly different experiences when it comes to writing. Not all high school writing is the same or taught the same, not, middle school, all of that. Not to mention the writing we do in our daily lives. We're texting people, we're posting on social media. Some of us are, using email quite a bit when it comes to our jobs or, our lives in general. So we're always writing, even if we're not realizing that, that we're constantly writing. But we need to kind of figure out like, what is this more focused genre of writing that is academic. So I think Irvin does a really nice job of working through that and helping us get a good start and a good foundation for our course. So make sure you take some time to read that. It is posted in the content area, so if you go over to the left-hand side, we always have the book and additional readings, that module there. All right, so this week looks pretty similar to how future weeks will look. We have a few assignments on the schedule, including a discussion post that's due on Thursday, which, hopefully you're feeling a little bit more comfortable with because we'd worked on something like that last week. So we do have that due on Thursday. And this week it's going to be required that you respond to 2 of your colleagues. So remember, if you see the little plus signs next to the points, that just means that those are considered bonus credit. So just a way to differentiate what you are required to do in the week and what you are, seeing as optional. And optional is always going to be bonus credit. That's not something you have to do, but this week it's required. You do have a quiz that's due on Sunday along with those responses. We're moving into the journal assignment. We're easing into it, don't worry. And then you do have that survey that I'd like you to complete. Thanks to those of you who have already been working on that. Remember, just ignore this. This does not mean anything in terms of what has actually been completed, just like the check marks. I don't know why. Anyhow, so if you scroll down, you're watching what will appear here. And then I've uploaded, again, the schedule as well as the syllabus. Those are really important documents for you as a student. They are meant to be tools to support you. They're meant to hold information that is relevant to our course so that at a glance you can find what you need. So make sure that you are becoming more and more comfortable with the information included in those. I would suggest you take a look at the late policy for work. Just a little hint, maybe that's included in the quiz. I don't know, I'm just saying. And then there's a link here to Irvin's article. So if you click on that, it will open the document here, but of course, and this is, don't worry, the first page looks kind of weird because it's an electronic article. Then you go into the actual article itself. Take your time with it, play around, you can zoom, you can do whatever it is you need to do in this document reader. You can also download the document if that's something that you prefer, and you'll do that by clicking here and click download so that you have it. You can open with doc reader, so make sure that you're kind of getting more comfortable with ways to view that kind of work as well. All right, so what are we doing this week? So if we go to the week 2 discussion, this is going to be based on our reading and what we're doing this week. So make sure that you're starting a thread with your name and chosen pronouns if that's something you'd like to include. For this week, paragraphs are about 4 to 5 sentences. So sometimes I have students who have 2-sentence paragraphs, and we want to push our ideas, make sure that we are being as thorough as possible with those ideas. And that means that we want our paragraphs to have enough information to make sure that anybody reading our work is really following our ideas. And we can't necessarily do that with 1 or 2 sentences, so push for that 4 to 5 sentence range. Once we start including research in the future, we'll go for even lengthier paragraphs, because including research requires an explanation and introduction of that research. But for now, remember this, the only thing I can base your grades on is your writing in an online course, right? In a course like this. So it really requires that you take some time with your revisions. I always suggest that people, draft their work in Microsoft Word, just in case D2L shuts down unexpectedly, which does happen. You don't want to lose all that work, but Microsoft Word also has the grammar and spelling check features that are helpful, and you can also use Grammarly. Please download Grammarly. Why not use all the tools that are available to you in order to write for our course, okay? You then, from Microsoft Word, copy and paste your writing. Don't upload a document. For this kind of writing, you want to start a new thread and actually have your paragraphs visible and easy for your colleagues and for me to access, rather than actually uploading a document. So in one paragraph, I want you to think about, from Irvin's article, what myth you relate to the most. You'll likely relate to all of them. If you're like me or like most people, you'll see a little bit of yourself in all the myths that he identifies, which is another great, a great aspect of this article, is that Irvin really he tries to focus in on the myths that we've been told and taught throughout our writing careers as students. I want you to think about, can you remember where you learned or internalized this myth? A lot of us are going to say from school, right? Do you still believe that myth, even though Irvin declares that it is indeed a myth, right? Irvin is saying these are not real. These things that we've been told, we need to delete those from our minds. Are you struggling to, believe him? Are you struggling to believe the myth, right? Why or why not? All right, so you'll want to directly reference Irvin's article. So if you're quoting his work, make sure that you're using quotation marks. And so I've given you an example here of how to do that as we kind of ease into making sure that we are citing our sources and that kind of thing. But when I say you'll want to reference Irvin's article, I mean, show that you've read, show that you are engaging with his ideas. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to bring in quotes, although that is the easiest way. It's just not necessarily a requirement right now. All right, so that is our week 2 discussion, and remember, you'll need to go back in and respond to 2 of your colleagues in that area. And when you respond to one another, make sure that you have engaged with their ideas. Don't just write, oh yeah, I really agree. Respond by showing that you've read and understand and are engaging with their ideas, which takes a couple of sentences, right? It's not just a quick, hey, yeah, or something like that. All right, so you see the check marks. Remember that those don't mean anything. It doesn't mean that the work has been done. I have a cat attacking the window. You get that, lizard. Sorry. All right, and then we go into our food journal. And so these will get a little bit more kind of defined in the future. You'll have a video and a handout, but we're easing into that. So just know that I am looking at this week as it is clearly our second week. We're still working through the kinks. You're still getting to know and understand my expectations. The grading will reflect that, but you will have more concrete kind of instructions in the future, okay? So I want you to write 3 paragraphs related to something you consider a comfort food. So we're gonna think and read and learn about writing in a particular way this semester, but in order to then apply what we've learned, I want us to use a topic, right? We need to then, put that knowledge to use in our writing in a specific way. And in order to do that, we're focusing on the just general kind of topic of food. And that's because it's something that we can all relate to in one way or another, whether it's because of our cultural backgrounds, our preferences, our diets, our allergies, that kind of thing. So we all can relate to food on some level. I want to make clear that I know that some of us may be coming to this course with previous or even current issues related to food, whether that be some sort of disordered eating or any of that. So if this is a topic that will not be helpful and healthy to you, then definitely reach out to me so that we can work through that and maybe come up with an alternative. But if it's something you are comfortable sharing when it comes to your writing, then I welcome that as well. It's whatever's going to be best for you, best for your mental health, that kind of thing. So I want us this week to think about what is a food that's just kind of a comfort to us, right? So I want you to really go into the writing, assuming your audience doesn't know what the food is, right? So you'll want to offer details. And I've put some questions because I think with writing, it's easier for us to start with questions, right? So you may have been taught before when it comes to writing a research paper, what's your research question, right? And so we do the same with just everyday kind of writing. What are the questions that we want to be answered in what we write? So what is the food? We don't need a full recipe. But give us an idea. Some of us may be coming from different backgrounds and don't know what a specific kind of food might be. So just offer us, what kind of food is it? What's the texture? What are some of the ingredients? We don't need the full-on recipe. When do you enjoy this food? Is it a holiday celebration? Is it a celebration of a birthday? Or is it, something? Sometimes comfort foods are when you're not feeling well. So my comfort foods for when I'm sick vary. A lot of times it ends up being cereal. I don't know why. That's just kind of an easy, maybe it's nostalgic from my growing up, even though the cereals I choose to eat now, I was not allowed to eat growing up. Lucky Charms, I see you with those marshmallows. So think of what it is that's a comfort food. And for some of you, it'll just be something you do every day. So maybe it's, overnight oats. That's something that is, I know I'm starting my day off well because I'm eating this or I'm having that smoothie. So you define what comfort is, right? And why is this your comfort food? Okay, I've offered you some templates here, so go ahead and make use of those, because if you're using the downloaded version of Microsoft Word, or if you're using the online version like with Google Docs, it is not set up, like, I don't know why Microsoft Word has done this, but the default font, the default spacing, everything is wrong. And these templates have made it right. So if you use the MLA template, it's just a document that's set up for you in the way that MLA requires. So let me see if my computer is going to now shut down because it doesn't like Word all the time. Anyhow, you can also have the Google Docs version here. So it's a basic template where you just go in and take out, my name. It doesn't say my name, but you put your name at the top and you just follow the instructions. All right. Okay, here it is. So you just basically put your name here, you put my name here, you put the course number. And so everything is set up in a way that follows MLA guidelines. In order to work on that header, which is part of what MLA requires, it is grayed out because it's something that the program will take care of. You should not be manually entering any of the page numbers here. So if you go, you want to double click at the top to get to the area that is grayed out. And so you then just put your last name here and a space, and it will update that as you go through the different pages, okay? So this is our template. Just enter your own information, and you'll want to upload that document here. Make sure you submit the document, and remember that D2L will send you a confirmation of that submission, but you want to double check that it's in the proper format. Do not submit a Pages document, please. If you're a Mac user like I am, don't do it, because I can't grade what I can't open, so you want to make sure that you are doing this correctly. And you can always double check once you upload the document. It'll appear here with like the blued hyperlink. You can double check that the document is correct. All right, so that's the food journal that we're easing into. And then you have your quiz, right? And that's based on this video. It's based on the reading, all of that good stuff. You do have the link to the student survey. And then I've included another checklist this week just as a way to help. Remember that just clicking them doesn't mean that they're done. This is just for you to go in and, kind of offer yourself a reminder of, yes, I did this. I did it by Thursday, or, it's all there. All right, so that is week 2 at a glance. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or concerns. Remember, we do have that Q&A discussion board. I appreciate that some of you have already been using that, and the student-only chat, which is wonderful. So again, keep clicking around and making sure that you're getting comfortable with our course area. Good luck this week. I hope you're feeling confident with all your courses, and I hope that you are heading into this week with good energy.